The foam cut out.
Subaru!
That's right!
Yay! How are you doing today?
Good to see you.
I learned a lot from your video.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Awesome. I've got some more good Subaru stuff coming out on valve cover gaskets and CV axles.
Well, I just watched it. I don't have a place to work on.
Oh,
But
right
I have
on.
a 2.5 LS and
Nice!
like watching your stuff is like really knowing what's going on with my car.
I love that. Thank you.
How do you like it here?
Oh my gosh. So we've already done a video on the valve cover gasket on the driver's side. Today we're going to be doing one on the passenger side. If you're not familiar with how to do that or how to do one without lifting the engine up like we're going to be doing in this one, please click on the end card link that goes to that video. So what we're going to do today is we're going to say never ever do a cold air intake that is in the hot engine compartment like this. They're dumb. Meaning cold air comes in through these. Hot air comes through this. You want cold air. That's why you have an intercooler. This defeats it, but that's the way the car was when I bought it. So yours is going to vary a little bit. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to unclamp the intake boot here. Yours is going to be different in that you're going to have a factory air filter that actually does intake cold air. Basically, you take off the top, take the air filter out. You'll have some fasteners and rubber grommets to pull out, but otherwise it's much the same. I'm going to be using the pick like this to get the hose to burp a little bit. If you want, you can hit it with some spray silicone or glass cleaner or whatever. See, this wasn't even secured. So you squeeze this tab here, push it closed, squeeze, and then wiggle it back and forth. Once you get a little bit of clearance, it'll come off. Next, we'll unclamp all these little coolant lines. This one is the overflow. You can either use a pick or you can twist the hose and then pull it off. And just repeat 3 more times. This one here might spill a little, but as long as your vehicle's cool, you shouldn't have too much issue. Be careful with the little plastic part on the tank here. That's to keep you from having a coolant leak. Let's take these and tuck them in front of the hoses. Pull the 2 bolts for your power steering reservoir line. I'll leave a link in the description where you can find one of these. So you've got 2 12mm bolts on the back. This just helps you to move it around if you have to. It's not really going to go anywhere far. And if I can get in there, I'll get this other little 10mm. It'll be free. You can pry on the reservoir tab right here. Pull the power steering reservoir up. All we're trying to do here is get a little bit of height. I'm going to get at the base of the hose right here and just kind of work it up like a Chinese finger trap. Have you ever seen these Craftsman pass-through ratchets and sockets? They're actually pretty cool. So you get the smaller of the 2 sizes, get the 12mm. These are nice because they've got a pass-through, but they're also really low profile, especially for being a 12mm. So I use these on the ignition coils. It just makes it a lot easier to get in there. So what I do is I get it down in there and then I just basically secure it with this finger, grab the valve cover and just push with my 2 thumbs. You don't have a lot of leverage. Another thing you can do is just get your little crow head in there. There's crow's foot wrenches, why not crow head, right? Gotta be careful because these can puncture stuff if you're not careful. But man, talk about saving the skin on your knuckles. Thanks guys. Next thing I want to do is get the plugs off of these ignition coils. You're not going to be able to see this much. Just push down on the tab and pull it back. So the white one goes to the front. It doesn't look real white anymore, does it? Black goes to the back. They're in this way, so you just have to push down on the buckle tab release and then just pull it back. So just like everything else, tuck it up, buttercup. So we get that same 12mm we were just using there. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to turn this around the other way so it's backwards. Like that. Once you have one of those tools, you'll wonder how you got by without it, that's for sure. So many tight spots, so many opportunities to bust knuckles. You know what I can't wait for? I can't wait until they invent something like this that can drive these things powered. You know, like some kind of something with like a chain drive over around it. That shouldn't be too hard. Frick, man, I'd buy one. You could charge $600 for something like that. Just throwing out million dollar ideas here, that's what we do. When it goes so free that it won't ratchet, then you know it's loose enough that you can spin it out by hand. Now's about the time to lift the motor. So this is your intercooler. If you're non-turbo, don't worry about it, it's even easier. But there's a little bolt right here for a torque strut or engine mount. We're going to pull that out. It's 14 millimeters. You hear that go crack? That was on there good. Nothing a 4-foot cheater pipe can't handle. Come here, Bolt. Your services are no longer required. Alright, so we're going to crack these first. Sucker's leaking all over. So sick of this thing leaking. Alright, get back. Crack it. I'll have to get out the big gun if that doesn't work. Of course it works. No big deal. You can see those washers are going to get lost. So there shouldn't be anything under here other than these two and a jack. So I'm going to set them off to the side because the jack's going to get in here to lift the motor. Oh, I've got the hood tied back. So I moved this over to the driver's side too. That way I'm not stressing the wire harness on the master cylinder. Nobody's got time for that. So I just did a 2x4 between the exhaust and the oil pan, just lifted out by this side. Now it's up higher. You want to make sure that you're good and secure before you proceed. See, I'm just doing this. Ooh, too hard. The ignition coils are threaded just a little bit. And by that I mean if you go to put the bolt right through it, it doesn't. You have to like screw the bolt into it. It's got like one thread at the very top. So while this is out, check it, make sure that it's not expanding rust, garbage, you know, making all these. This is made out of a bunch of different plates, smushed, sandwiched together. If you get rust in between them, it can ruin it. If you see signs of that, address it now, and you won't have to later. Yeah! That'll be so much easier. Just do all the takes in the comfort of your own home. Not bending over an engine compartment, trying to get it right while you're doing it. It's not easy. Come on, I ain't gonna hurt you. It's gonna crack your head. This doesn't look awkward at all. So you can get under it. Dude, now just get it to hang over the edge of the valve cover. It's like a little cliff jumper. Just say woohoo and jump, buddy. Woo! Let's pop that gasket off while we're at it. Yeah! Do you realize what you've done? Look, all we got to do is pull our bolts and the valve covers out. So let's pull it. We got tons of room on this side. I don't know if you can see that, but whoa! Did you lose your balance there? Somebody in the back there just puked. I found where this won't crack stuff free. You know, like if you just put it on it, it just goes, no. You can sometimes get it running first and then stick it on it. And that momentum makes the difference. Ratcheting box wrench. I feel like some kind of Pokemon person saying, use this or do that, you know, but if you don't know this, if you haven't done this job before, being introduced to something like a ratcheting box wrench, can't even hear it, it's so quiet. Hear that? That's the sound of get her done. It's all about having a few tricks. You got a few tricks, you're just going to be okay. I mean, you can get this with normal tools by jacking it up and jacking it down and pulling the exhaust off. But especially on these turbo ones, so much easier if you have the right tool for the job, you know what I mean? Something like this will give you a little access. Alright, here's beginning access. Here's after you jack up the passenger side of the engine. You can see the bolts just come right up to your hands. Come to Papa! Yeah! When you start to hear things crunch and crack a little bit, stop! Don't go anymore, you'll mess stuff up, right? So when you're in this up position on this side, bam, now you can get 5 bolts out of 8. So now you only got to do 3 by hand, just like we had on the other side. Not too bad. So that's what we're going to do, folks. I'm going to get in there, crack some bolts, and spin them out best we know how. See, bottom 2, see that one's already cracked. I did this one too, nope. It's easy to tell where you haven't been. So they're stuck. Alright. Let me see if I can get in maybe one more. So when you start to get to the vehicle, you know, like the unibody frame or whatever, what I do is I'm backing out. You don't want to get stuck or trapped like that, because then you got to get a screwdriver or your 90-degree dental pick. It got snagged. I couldn't get it in there on cue. Sorry about that. But anyway, you don't want to back it into there. So once it's loose and spinning freely, you don't have to be all the way on it. You can turn a little bit, and then that'll kick it out at the last second. Kind of a thrill-seeker movie maneuver. Yeah. All right, well, don't got to worry about that one no more. So now we just got these two. All right, troublemakers. So the nice thing about these pass-through ones is you can just put your finger on the socket and get the resistance that you need to get the ratchet to work. Just need to push with your finger now. Now. See, look at the way that's just pouring oil out of there. It'll be a nice puddle of oil. Those things are basically like oil pans on these boxer engines. Now we're fit to piss all over and catch it too. So I got a screwdriver. I'm just going to burp this sucker a little bit. I'm not liking the way it's going, so I'm going to get a little straighter on it. There's the burp. Here she goes. Turn it just a little bit more. Always the right tool for the job, and if it's not, you adjust it to be. You think I can hook this with braille? There you go. See that? That's what we like. I feel like I'm golfing here. Like a golf club. There you go. I give up. Because I won. It's the perfect time to quit after you're victorious. Alright. So it's getting blocked because it's tucked into the timing cover, right? So you back this out and then just start to pull it backwards. Pay attention when you're doing yours. Let me get these lines up out of the way a little better again. They tend to creep on you. It's like Slender Man. I was so careful with that, and then I break it off. Jeez, man. Anyway, this is a cakewalk. This isn't a big deal on this side. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, just be careful how whatever you pull it up. Look at all the buildup in the sludge and crud. You see how it's cleaner? That's since I've owned it. See how it's all buggered up here? That's why the other guy owned it and didn't change the oil on it. And put the quote-unquote cold air intake garbage that you saw at the beginning of the video. Hot air intake. Dumb. Alright, so pull the old gasket out. Make sure that you didn't have gasket get stuck on these. Pull out your half moons. We've done this all on the other side, so I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on that. I will, at the end of this, like I said, do an end card to the other video. So if you want to see how to do the gasket or what makes it different, check that out in that video. This one's just the mechanics of how to access this one and lifting the motor. So this will conclude part 3 of the 4-part series of doing the valve covers on a Subaru. Just want to give a big thanks to everybody for tuning in, for showing support of the channel. Really do appreciate it. Like I put that thing at the beginning where Kit flagged me down at the Peterson Auto Museum in California. It's so fun when you find that your videos are helping people. I love doing this. So like I said, I really appreciate your support. Cheers.